Hello all, let me get my notes straight and proper for you guys. Welcome to my mama's house. So one thing I've never done is take the webcam experience, take the YouTube experience, and bring it out to where I came from, and that's the middle of fucking nowhere, man. Literally the middle of nowhere. We are in Deer Lakes. We are in Fawn Township. If you look that up on a map in Pennsylvania, it probably looks about this bit. Well, it's not even on there, man. We have one main road. It's called 908 and 908 Extension, and that's it. That's what we have out here. There are a few gyms, but they're very few and far between. If you manage to get through the gnats and the trees and shit like that, then you'll manage yourself just fine. I grew up out here riding dirt bikes, ATVs. I have it's just a house full of females. It's seriously just like a fucking episode of Honey Boo Boo in here. But just cope with me as much as you can, and let's stack up the Diaz brothers. Now, this being a sensitive subject for me, being that Nick is a faithful subscriber to me, has helped me out a lot, and believe me, Nick, I can't thank you enough for your sub and your support. But I mean, let's stack these two up, because these two are both definite MMA. I mean, if you ever want to be a mixed martial artist and you want to know how to train and do it right and learn the right disciplines and learn how to take a punch and learn when to throw one and when to duck one, then you're going to train like a Diaz brother. What does Nick do? You know, we've all heard Cesar Gracie talk, you know, about Nick Diaz, and what does he do on his downtime? He does a triathlon, you know. What does Nate do on his downtime? He fucking goes swimming, you know. I mean, these guys are just freaks of nature as far as cardio is concerned. And as far as boxing goes, everybody knows Richard Perez is the best mixed martial arts boxing coach that you can get. Also, one thing people get caught up on is Nate's record. Nate's record is currently held at 16-7. And people look at that, and they look at Benson Henderson's record, and look at all his wins, and 1-2 losses, and they, that plays a lot into how the odds are going to go. It's 3-1 that Benson Henderson's going to retain his title. I think Karma's going to take that title right away. I actually had a dream about it, and Benson Henderson lost the title. But looking at Nick's record, most people say when he was in Strikeforce, he was fighting bombs. He wasn't fighting bombs. These guys were the best in the world that they could bring into Strikeforce. Whoever they brought in to fight Nick Diaz, Nick Diaz fought. Nick Diaz fought 4 or 5 times a fucking year on Showtime. I mean, this guy was working on. I mean, this guy literally was running Strikeforce. He was running Strikeforce, especially in the welterweight division. He was just dominating, just dominating the welterweight division, and he put on exciting fights. It doesn't really matter who he put them against, Evangelista Cyborg came in with 16-11 record, but that guy's a wrecker. He's fucking ripped. He's tough. He knows MMA. He knows Muay Thai. Definitely knows Jiu-Jitsu. His wife watched in terror as Nick ripped him apart. Mario Zaromskis, an excellent striker, and fought in Dream and dominated there. Tip of the hat to Nick for giving him the fucking knockout. He even swung some Muhammad Ali over top of Scott Smith's head, not defending his title. The other 2 fights were in title defenses, but he still, he puts on a show every time he goes in there. And you can throw Nate in that picture too. Every time you buy a Diaz fight or watch a Diaz fight, you're going to get entertainment. You're going to be entertained. You're going to see a fight. To me, that's one of the most important aspects of MMA, is that they come to fight, and that they come to fight to finish. And that, my friend, is the Diaz brothers in a nutshell. If you can get them, I imagine it'd be pretty difficult to get Perez. I've been out to Lodi, California, and there's not that much out there. So it's pretty similar to where I grew up. It's just it is what it is. So stacking up the Diaz brothers. In order to stack up the Diaz brothers, you got to look at their weight, and you also have to look at where they've been and where they're going. Where they've been, where they're going, are 2 complete different places. Nick got Nate into mixed martial arts at a young age. Nick was already fighting, and he's actually told a story. Is like he used to hang with his boys on the corner and see Nick running, and they used to ask, like, why is your brother always doing that? And he said, I don't know, that's just what he likes to do, that's just his thing. So Nick was just, getting his cardio on, man, getting his cardio done. I just got done watching the Joe Riggs fight. That fight's disturbing to me. Again, I think Nick gets robbed in every opening round and every closing round. Every opening round that he's ever lost a decision to, it seems like, anyway, every opening round that he's ever lost a decision to, and closing round, he for sure won. Most of these are 3-round fights. So, you got to give the nod 28. Give it to who deserves it, not who you like the best. It was definitely Nick that beat Joe Riggs in that fight. I understand the whole hospital thing. I would have done the same goddamn thing, man. Like Dana said, if Nick would play the game just a little bit, then he'd take him back. Well, he took him back, and Nick didn't play any fucking games. What they did was play games with him. They played games with Nick. They followed him around with cameras. He didn't want to be followed with cameras. What they did was put him in his beauty pageant. He didn't want to be a part of a beauty pageant. He just wanted to get in there and fight for the belt. They wouldn't allow him to get in there and fight for the belt. What they want Nick Diaz to do is fight, right? You signed a contract to be a mixed martial artist and fight. I know they want the sport to blow up. I want the sport to blow up. You all want the sport to blow up. But look, it's just, moving in on someone's comfort zone like that is going to affect their training, and it's certainly going to affect their performances and, the way they act. It's just, invading their privacy, and he didn't seem to cope with it well. I don't think I could deal with it either. Nate, on the other hand, is a little bit more comfortable under the lens. It just seems like, after the filming Ultimate Fighter 5 and always being on camera, he's a little bit less camera shy, a little less gun shy. And hold on a second, let me adjust. Okay, a little less gun shy, a little less camera shy. And maybe that's what did it. Maybe it was the Ultimate Fighter. After the Ultimate Fighter, we saw Nick fight Diego Sanchez. I also thought, I'm sorry, guys, I have to give Nick the nod in that fight, too. I just think judges don't take into account what fighters do off their back, and that's not fair. It's not fair to any of us. It's not fair to anyone. It's not fair to the fans, the judges, the fucking ref, and it's definitely not fair to the Diaz brothers, who are incredible off their backs. So, they both submit to Origami. Nate lights up Donald Cerrone. I feel like Nick lit up Carlos Condit. As best to his ability. If Nick Diaz didn't do anything in that competition, there wouldn't have been a fight. There would have been no fight. There would have been a bunch of resistance from one guy and the other guy doing nothing. Say Nick had done nothing, just stood there and looked dumb, then, there would have been no fight. Carlos was on the defense the entire time and backpedaling and running. So, I'm going to stick to my guns on that one. But put below your favorite Diaz brother. I'm not pitting them together. Who do you think is going to wear UFC Gold first? I'm going to go ahead and say Nathan Diaz, because I believe he's going to win the belt against Benson Henderson, and here's why. He has the boxing, he has the reach, and not so much the speed, but what takes down Benson Henderson's speed is the accuracy and the accumulation of Nate's punches. A la Stockton slap. So, as long as you can stop, wear and tear someone down with punches, especially rips to the body like the Diaz brothers love to do, courtesy of Richard Perez training, you can slow pretty much anybody down, and that's what they do. They slow everybody down and then get them to, they push a pace that no one else can match, drag you into deep waters, and pretty much, either knock you out or submit you in the end. They have tons of finishes, and these are photo finishes, man. They're just excellent to look at. Even the photographs are just excellent to look at. Their technique is just incredible. The way they do things is just incredible. Can you tell I'm a Diaz fan? Well, you should, because I am. So Nate will get the title shot first. I believe that Nick Diaz will be a title holder in 2013. If he doesn't face a champ, I'd like to ask him who would he like to face. If it's not Carlos, if it's not GSP, if it's not Anderson Silva to take a Bonner fight to, then who's it going to be? I want to know who's it going to be. Who's the first victim of Nick Diaz comeback? That would be an awesome question to ask Nick. Nick is a veteran of the UFC. A lot of people think Nathan is a veteran of the UFC. truthfully, it's Nick. I mean, Nick was fighting in the UFC before, I believe before Nate Diaz even studied, or, I mean, really went into MMA. No one thought he had any boxing. People thought he just, rolled around and had these jiu-jitsu, these amazing flexibility skills and jiu-jitsu skills. And he comes out and knocks out Robbie Lawler, Later on, he lost that dumbass split decision to Joe Riggs, and I'm so glad he lit him up in the hospital. It was just, it's just a good story, The other night I was sitting around with my girl and we were telling stories, and I told her that. And I had never showed it to her over the internet, so she didn't believe me, so I had to pull it up on my iPhone. And there it was, man. I mean, it's a true story. And the way Joe Riggs tells it is, Nick tells it a little different. So I read both. We both had a good laugh. I mean, shit. Without the Diaz brothers, that moment wouldn't have happened. That's a moment in time that my girl and I we're cracking up. Life's about making memories, man. And I'm all about MMA, mixed martial arts. I'm a jiu-jitsu guy myself, so shit about these brothers was not to like. Notably against Condit, Nick likes to get people in the corner. He likes to pit you against the corner and just rip to the body and then to the head and then maybe duck or slip a few punches and wear you down. That's how he won all those fights in Strikeforce and definitely beat the living shit out of BJ Penn and humbled BJ Penn into retirement. I don't think BJ Penn had any plans on retiring at all before he fought Nick Diaz. He fought Nick Diaz and got lit up so bad. Leatherface, BJ Penn, never been injured. I've never seen BJ Penn injured ever. He was injured. He was hurting. His eye was busted up, and he actually said to Joe Rogan that he cannot go home looking like this. So, if there's real fighters out there like Nick Diaz that are going to do this to people, he doesn't want to fight them. And he quit that night. Later on, we heard Nick Diaz announce his retirement because it wasn't fair. It wasn't fair. If Nick Diaz had not showed up to that fight, then there would have been no fight. He put the fight in that Carlos Condit fight. I don't care what the fuck Dana White says. Carlos Condit won by baby fucking leg kicks. You gotta be kidding me. It was a joke. It was a huge joke to me. It's just funny, and I can't wait to see who they feed to him in February, because I know that guy's hungry. Nate Diaz will fight for the title. Benson Henderson, UFC on Fox 5. He will fight for the title on free TV, and let's support our guy, man. I can see Nate, boxing him up, slowing him down a little bit, maybe a takedown here and there. The only problem is he's had trouble against big wrestlers, and I really hope that the Scrap Packs help him against that. Jake Shields, excellent wrestler, probably the best wrestler in the welterweight division as of right now, and I really hope that he shows Nate how to stop that double leg from a bigger guy, stronger guy. You know what I mean? I feel like they're going to work on every aspect of his game, and he's going to take home that title. So I feel like the first Diaz brother to win UFC Gold is going to be Nate Diaz. But within 2013, if Nick comes back, we're going to see brothers wearing some UFC Gold, and that'd be a first. It'll be a first, and it wouldn't be a shocker. And mark it now, because it's going to happen. So speaking of BJ Penn, he's going to return on UFC on Fox 5 against Rory McDonald. Rory McDonald most notably took down Nathan Diaz at 170 with awesome takedowns, suplexes. Really ragdolled Nate Diaz at 170. But prior to that, he had two awesome wins, a knockout and a submission. Not the Rory Markham fight, but the Marcus Davis fight, it might as well have been a knockout. It could have ended a TKO at any time. Marcus Davis has a pro boxing background, and he outboxed him. He out-wrestled him. He out-everythinged him until he choked him out completely unconscious towards the end. So, props to Nate Diaz. Oh, and he was behind enemy lines then, too. He was in Boston. Just as the Jim Miller fight where he earned his title shot, he was in Jersey. So, they don't mind, stepping across enemy lines and whooping your ass there, too. So, Yeah, it's just the BJ Penn comeback. BJ Penn has tons of experience. He's, in my opinion, the best lightweight champion of all time. He's a two-time, he's a champion in 2 divisions, and the only other man to do that, of course, Randy Couture, with lightweight and light heavyweight. BJ Penn is welterweight and lightweight, being that the UFC did not have a lightweight tournament at this time. So he moved to 170 and beat Matt Hughes by rear naked choke to take the title. And moved down to 155 and took the 155 vacant belt from Joe Stevenson. And that's a bloody, gruesome match. And if you watch BJ Penn, he can be pretty nasty. But like I said, Nick Diaz humbled that boy. He humbled BJ Penn. BJ Penn also is a great supporter of mine. Talked to him on Twitter. He's a great guy. And but look, he got humbled, man. He got humbled. He used to be just this huge shit talker. He used to talk shit nonstop about there's a quote out there that says, like, I just want to be the best fighter ever. Is that too much to ask? And obviously it was, because he stepped in the cage with Nick Diaz, and I mean, one of those rounds was easily scored 10-8. I think it was round 2. He just got lit up with punches with Nick Diaz. Round 1, I actually gave to BJ Penn. But it was only for the takedown. It was the takedown. After that, it was all Nick Diaz game. Scored him a title shot against Condit. I feel he got robbed against that too. But moving on, BJ Penn, Roy McDonald's fighting BJ Penn on UFC on Fox 5. Roy McDonald's training out of TriStar Gym, which includes GSP. Some of the best fighters in the game to date are fighting there. He's young, he's hungry, and more of a danger is his well-rounded game. It's so well-rounded. He actually whooped the current welterweight champion, Carlos Condit. I thought he had that fight in the bag until the third round in the final seconds where Carlos came back. Carlos is an excellent fighter. He's an excellent fighter. I'm a huge fan of Carlos Condit. Huge Condit fan. I always was. In the WC days, I never missed a Condit fight ever. I haven't missed one Condit fight, I don't think, in maybe 4 or 5 years. I always buy Condit fights, and I think he's exciting. He has an excellent finishing rate, and it was an unfortunate night at UFC 143. But be that as it may, who do you think will be the first to wear UFC Gold? Nick Diaz or Nate Diaz? Nate Diaz has his chance upcoming in December, and Nick coming back early next year. Let's see what happens, and maybe he'll get. I don't see an immediate title shot, but I do see a title shot definitely on the horizon of one victory. One victory, I think they're going to give Nick Diaz a title shot. So, be that as it may, I think Nick Diaz, I think he wants to come back, and I think if he does come back, he's going to come roaring back, steaming back, full speed. And, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm a Diaz fan, so I'm going to put a Diaz fan video out. Nick, thank you very much. I appreciate all your support. All you guys that watch, I thank you for your support. All my subscribers love me very much, and treat each other well.